Having worked in the finance industry for 7 years in risk management to then purchasing 4 investment properties by the age of 27, I feel I know a thing or two about managing money and making your money work for you. I graduated university with a degree in commerce, majoring in economics and commercial law, and now I have just started my diploma in mortgage broking so I can get started with running my own business. With my finance knowledge and my experience working in the industry, let me share 8 money habits that may subconsciously be keeping you poor. 1. Productive versus unproductive debt. I like to think of productive debt as debt which can be used for additional wealth creation purposes. So this could be perhaps taking out an investment loan so you can purchase an investment property. Essentially, you're using the bank's service offering, like a mortgage, to build your asset portfolio and your wealth by leveraging the bank's debt. Interest rates on investment loans or owner-occupier loans is around 5 to 7%. But say you buy an investment property in a good area, you could be getting a return of about 20 to 30%, which means that you're actually getting more than what you put in. Whereas unproductive debt like credit cards, personal loans, car loans can very quickly put you under stress and turmoil if you're not managing your finances well and paying off these loans like you should be. These types of bank products come with very high interest rates, almost nearing 20%. It's quite unfortunate that it almost takes nothing to get approved for these kinds of loans and credit cards, and people are finding themselves using it for small things like groceries, shopping, and travel. It almost doesn't even make sense to have these if you're finding yourself paying a large amount of interest at the end of each month, which is why I've got a personal rule of my own that if I can't afford to buy something outright with the cash that I have in my bank account, then that purchase is something I shouldn't make right now. 2. Paying yourself last. I used to believe that paying yourself last was the best thing that you could do. So this essentially meant paying for all of your bills, your debts, your utilities, any costs you had, you would pay that first when you received your salary, and whatever was left over, you'd keep for yourself. One mistake with this was that when it did come time to transferring to my savings account, I almost didn't have anything left to transfer. I thought I was being diligent by making sure I pay everything on time so that I don't incur fees. And yes, that may be the right thing to do, but to be honest, that should have been the least of my worries. After reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, I understood the value in paying yourself first. Before paying your bills, paying anyone at all, you should put aside 10% of your income that you receive into your savings. For some, this may be more or less. This way, you are guaranteeing yourself 10% of your income that's going towards your savings. Now, with whatever money is left over after your savings, you'll use those funds to pay for any debts. You may think that you put too much money into your savings, that you don't have enough money to actually pay for your bills. Trust me, you do. It's interesting what the mind can do. It will go into solutions mode. So this might mean you start up a side hustle, you might be going out less every week, and perhaps reducing that retail spending. Robert Kiyosaki says that if you pay yourself last, you don't have the desire to work harder, think of alternative methods of generating income to be able to pay for your bills. Whereas if you pay yourself first, you definitely want to make sure you pay off any government debts, so you will push yourself to work harder and find a way to make it happen. 3. Emergency fund. Having an inadequate emergency fund can really put unnecessary pressure on you when a rainy day pops up. The rule of thumb generally states that we should have about 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up for any unexpected costs that may pop up. Could be medical, insurance, or a vet bill. But let's be honest, how many of us actually have this money on hand and ready to go when we actually need it? We tend to max out our credit cards, take out personal loans, or even ask other people around us to gift us some money. By not being self-sufficient and not managing your finances properly, you're putting yourself in a very stressful situation, and a situation which may continue over cycles and cycles, and then essentially may also pass down to your children as well. And that's bad money habits, which we don't want to pass on. Almost 1 in 5 Australians said that they didn't have enough money for emergencies, and 16% said that they were unable to cover for food or basics. 14% said that they couldn't afford to even pay a bill. It's pretty daunting not having control over your finances, but let me tell you, there's so much that you can do that's in your control, in your power, that can change this situation for you. So how do you know how much you actually need to save up? Like, what is that dollar amount? This is where budgeting comes into play. Number 4, budgeting. Using a budget tracker online or even just creating your own budget tracker on Excel can help you out immensely with your finances. It's really important to check your bank account from time to time to see what you're spending your money on, like direct debits, sneaky subscriptions, or are you even getting paid the right amount at your job? When I was working my 9-to-5 job, I noticed that the pay I was receiving wasn't matching up to the pay slip that I received. So I reported this to HR and they rectified this for me. If I hadn't checked my bank account or my pay slip and taken that responsibility, I would never have known and I would have been paid so much less. With a budget, you're able to see visually what you're spending on. It's almost like it's right there in front of you. The expensive takeouts, the expensive dinners, it really does add up quite quickly. When it's right there in front of you, staring back at you, it kind of makes it real and it may ignite that desire to manage your finances more effectively. 5, lifestyle creep. The mistake that many of us make is that whenever we do get a promotion at work and when our salaries increase, we feel like we owe it to ourselves to splurge a little and reward ourselves for the hard work that got us to this salary increase. It's fair to treat yourself a little through materialistic things. However, it does have to stop there because if you think about it, any small win that you have in life and you feel like you have to reward yourself for it could get into a very negative cycle quite quickly. Because once you build enough passive income through these investments will be paying you some passive income, which you can later on use on these little rewards for yourself to spend on shopping, travel, whatever it is, without feeling guilty about it. I personally feel that using your money for things like picking up a course, learning a new skill, travel, starting a business is a better use of your money because not only are you learning more about life or a particular skill, you're also going to be able to use that knowledge and that expertise in generating more wealth for yourself when it comes to maybe getting a promotion at work or changing jobs and asking for a higher salary. 6, expensive taste. Is it just me or am I seeing more people around these days with luxury items like shoes, handbags, the latest technology? It almost seems like everyone has these. Brands have really high budgets and it's their mission and goal to target low to middle income earners on psychological marketing for luxury items. Can't lie, I've definitely been guilty of it myself as well. However, there are just too many people out there who don't have their finances sorted and are in fact in not a good position yet can still justify making luxury or expensive purchases. It was interesting to see in Ramit Sethi's show, How to Get Rich, the scenario of a couple who were very much low income earners, did not have an adequate emergency fund, had credit card debts, multiple accounts open, yet the couple was still able to afford to buy a luxury designer handbag. The mindset that we have that unproductive debt is okay to have and that you should spend as you please and not have a single care in the world about your finances is a way of thinking that will never take you out of poor money habits, and it will really just pull you straight back down unless you do something about it. 7, saving money and delaying investing. Saving your money in a bank account and not doing anything with it is actually putting you further behind than you think. You may think it's a safe option, it's less risky, and that's true, it may be less risky. However, each day that money is sitting in your savings account, you are actually losing value because the rate of inflation is higher than the interest rate that you're getting for that money. The average rate of return for the stock market is about 7 to 10% per annum. Some forms of property investing have returns of about 20 to 30% depending on where you buy, when you buy. And now we all know the current rate of inflation is around 6.8 to 7%. You're losing about 2% of the money that's sitting in your bank account already just by having it there. Of course, many will be risk averse and choose not to do anything with it. But as Robert Kiyosaki says, people who are millionaires don't just have their money sitting in their bank account and not doing anything with it. They usually tend to invest their money in the stock market, in property, in businesses, and the like. Therefore, don't just wait around for the right opportunity, the right day, the right time, because that right time will never actually come in the world of investing. You've just got to make your informed decision, stick to it, and go with it. 8, minimize taxes. Now, not speaking to a good accountant could be doing you more harm than good. And not speaking to an accountant at all could mean mean that you're just leaving money on the table. There are many legal loopholes that you can take to avoid paying higher taxes. If it's anything that we want to save money on, it's taxes, right? So why not get a professional to help us out with it? Essentially, if you're a pay-as-you-go individual with a 9-to-5 job, there are so many things you can make deductions on. Also for businesses, if you're running as a sole trader, it might be worthwhile speaking to your accountant to set up a company structure so that you can potentially save on taxes. However, it's a conversation to have with your accountant. And that is it. See you guys in my next video.